Okay, so let's get started with Chapter 6, which covers digital devices and multimedia. So we're going to talk a little bit about digital cameras, how to transfer your images from your camera, talk about a couple ways to edit and print photos, talk about some different audio file types, talk about some ways to create videos, and look at different tablets and smartphones. So let's talk about cameras. When choosing a digital camera, there are 3 features to consider: resolution, storage, and lenses. Resolution pertains to the quality of the image and is measured in pixels. The higher the resolution, the more detail your picture has. Okay? The downside to that is the higher the resolution, the larger the file. So many cameras will allow you to select the image quality. If you choose to take lower resolution pictures, then you'll be able to fit more images on your memory card. Digital cameras can store images internally or on removable memory cards. The internal memory on most cameras is relatively small. If your camera uses memory cards to store the images, you can take the card out of the camera, put it in a card reader attached to your computer or a photo printer, and print out your pictures and then remove the pictures that are on the card and then reuse the card so you don't have to buy extra memory cards once you buy one. The type of card you're going to use is going to depend on what type of camera you have. And flash memory cards come in capacities up to 512 gigabytes in size, so depending on the type of card. And then if you see this picture we have here, SanDisk just released a 1 terabyte prototype last year. So 1 terabyte. That's a tremendous amount of data storage space on a tiny little SD card. It's amazing. Digital cameras have the ability to zoom in on an object. Optical zoom uses a zoom lens to change the focal length of the camera, which makes objects appear closer. Telephoto or farther away gives you a wide angle look. Okay. Some cameras have a macro setting or close focus for taking pictures of objects that are very close. Digital zoom crops the image and enlarges a portion of it. Unfortunately, this is going to result in a zoomed image of lower quality. So you could see these people took this picture here of these giraffes. They decided to crop out all of this. They just wanted this little guy here, or big guy, I guess. Okay, and so this is the zoomed in picture, which if we were to look at the properties of this image, it's going to have a lower resolution. It's going to be lower quality. So sometimes that's not great when you're trying to print. Things come out sort of pixelated and blurry. So there's a lot of different types of digital cameras. Basic point-and-shoot cameras are the simplest and the least expensive. Advanced point-and-shoot cameras are moderate in price. They're also moderate in features and quality. But they have the features that we like, so like zoom, viewfinders, and sometimes special effects. Compact system cameras are advanced point-and-shoot cameras with interchangeable lenses and the ability to capture HD video. And then we have DSLRs, which stands for Digital Single Lens Reflex. And these cameras connect various types of lenses to the camera. They can be manually focused. So if you're thinking of like, the reporters of the olden days or the photographers who actually focus their camera manually, that's what you can do with these DSLR cameras. All right. So they're really great, like for action shots. And these are the most expensive type of cameras that we'll be talking about. Okay, great. So now you have a camera, you took your pictures. How do you get those images off of your camera? Memory cards store images on cards that can be inserted into a computer or a printer. USB can be used to connect the camera directly to a computer. And then device drivers are going to be needed for the computer to actually talk to the camera. Okay? So if you're using Windows, you have the option of tagging the images with keywords and then erasing them from the memory card. Okay? That'll make them easier for you to find later if you do that little tag. Okay? Wireless-enabled digital cameras can transfer photos using Wi-Fi or even cellular wireless technology. Cameras that are part of a mobile device, like your tablet or your smartphone, let you upload photos directly to the internet or the cloud. Okay. Android devices upload to PhotoBucket or Facebook. iOS devices use iCloud to sync among multiple devices. So if you have an iPad and you have an iPhone and maybe you have a MacBook, hey, you can set it up to sync among all your devices so your pictures will be available no matter what device you're on. Okay. You can email, message, tweet photos. You can do pretty much whatever you want to do with the photos that are on your mobile devices. Okay. So let's talk about editing and printing our photos. Editing software at home is available in simple, free programs or expensive professional programs like Adobe's Photoshop. Okay. Another option is a photo editing website. So a place like Snapfish or Shutterfly, Flickr. Okay. These websites include online storage, basic editing tools, and then, of course, options to share and purchase the photos. So this is a little table of important image file types. Okay, there's a lot of different file formats that are used for digital photos, believe it or not. Okay, some common graphic file formats include Joint Photographic Experts Group, JPEG. So if you've heard of JPEG, that's what that stands for, and you'll see it spelled this way or this way. We have bitmap. Okay, this is a file format that was originally developed for Windows, hence the format Windows bitmap. Okay. JPEGs can store up to 16.7 million colors, and they use lossy compression to reduce file size because these are huge files. Okay. If you have it in a bitmap file type, compression is optional. So these can also end up as very large files. Okay. There's also TIFF, tagged image file format. This is a lossless graphic format, often with no compression applied, which again is going to result in large file size. Okay. And then RAW format, what that means is that the images aren't processed by the camera. Okay, and so the only way they get processed is when you use the software that came with your camera. Okay, this is a proprietary file format, like NEF is for Nikon, CRW or CR2 is for Canon. So if you buy that type of camera, we're talking, these are your high level, professional cameras. You have to use different software to process those files. Okay. PictBridge is something that we call an industry standard. Okay, that means it goes across. It's the same across the industry, basically. Okay, and what it does is it allows a camera to connect directly to a printer via like USB or even a dock. Some of the photo printers, you just stick your phone right on there and you can print. Okay, or your camera. And so it allows the images to be printed directly from the digital camera to a printer without having to connect the camera to a computer. So you're sort of skipping that middleman. You're skipping the middle step of actually, that connect to your computer, then look at the pictures, then pick which pictures to print. PictBridge allows you to connect your camera directly to your printer. So, helpful hint, that is a homework question. Okay. Photo kiosks. These are in some places becoming a sort of a thing of the past, okay? But you'll see them like at Walgreens or Walmart. I know there was one in Target that closed. What they are these little kiosks in retail stores, and they have built-in editing features. So you connect your camera with USB, or else you just bring in your little memory card and slip it into a slot in the kiosk, and then you go through your photos, choose what you want to do, enlarge, get rid of red eye. If you don't have a lot of experience with this stuff, or you just don't want to have experience, you can go and have someone who works at that store help you. Okay. Websites like Snapfish and Shutterfly are personal image sharing sites. Okay, and so they let you share your photos with friends and family. They're like, oh, here's some free storage space, and you want to share your vacation photos with your friends or your mom? Yeah, definitely do it. And then the hope is, of course, that you're going to actually purchase some prints or a coffee mug with your sunset on the beach, printed on it. So obviously, everyone's out to make some money, so they give you something and then they hope you're going to buy something in return. Okay. Photo sharing community. There's tons of photo sharing communities. Flickr is one. It's actually owned by Yahoo. It has geotagging and it's Creative Commons license, which means that if you upload your pictures there and you agree to this Creative Commons license, that means that anyone can then go and use your pictures without having to reference you, basically. Okay? But there's Instagram and there's Snapchat and Facebook and what, I don't even know, billions of these different photo sharing communities. Okay, so let's talk about some important audio file types. Codecs are compression algorithms that reduce the size of media files. Okay? So if you see this, you'll know what codecs is. All right. DMCA is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And what that did was it made it illegal to remove DRM from protected files. And DRM is Digital Rights Management. So let's talk a little bit about that here in a minute. Okay. MP3, extremely common audio file type. Everyone's heard about an MP3. That stands for Moving Picture Experts Group Layer 3 Audio. Quite a mouthful. Okay. It's an audio file type used for music files. AAC, Advanced Audio Coding, is a default file type used by iTunes. Okay. Which is why sometimes it's difficult to transfer in files because of different file types when you're using iTunes. That's their default file type. Okay. WMA is Windows Media Audio, and that refers to synthesized digital media files. And then, like I said, digital rights management is this technology that they came up with, and they applied it to these digital media files to pose restrictions on the use of these files. So, what does that mean in English? That means, say yes, I'll just admit it. I buy CDs still because I figure, why buy a digital album for like $9.99 and just have that, the digital files, when I can buy a CD for like $5.99 and still get the digital files, right? So I get my CD and maybe I put it into iTunes or whatever. Maybe I burn a few copies for someone. Yes, I'm dating myself, but that's okay. And it only allows you to do that a certain number of times. Once you've done that, like say 5 times, it says, okay, enough. You don't get to burn this anymore. You don't get to share this anymore. That's because of digital rights management technology that's applied on there.